All right, Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn, Night of Champions, Plan B. When do you think this was scheduled for? Saturday night's main event or like a big Raw? And they pivoted. What do you think?
I'm trying to think when is the next Saturday night's main event. So
Two
actually, it'd be
weeks.
July
All in.
12th, right? So
Yeah.
all in. Yeah, I would probably say all in. Yeah, Saturday night's main event on the 12th of July. Yeah, I think this would have been it, but AJ and or Dominic Mysterio came down with an injury, quote unquote. So, and then this would be better anyways. Maybe for crowd heat because of Sammy being of Arabic descent and all that. So with Syria and all that. So I think there'd be more juice to this match than maybe the Dominic match. So not a bad choice to take off Saturday night's main event and put it on here.
Yeah, but the bell has to ring and it's Karrion Kross, right?
Unfortunately, that was my next point I was going to make is that, hey, Karrion, you want to be on pay-per-view? All right, you got to go to Saudi Arabia to do it. I'm sure it's probably not on the top of his list, but hey, and there's no bonuses apparently now for these guys going there, so I guess it does just another day at the office for these guys. So here we are.
So it's interesting, right? Because the elephant in the room that is he's gotten pretty over organically through online presence, right? And that's interesting because he does have a natural charisma to him. His wife's hot. He speaks in riddles, and he does have I don't want to say like an acute charisma, but he has a natural charisma. But to me, it always felt that it was like off, or it felt that it was just like overly scripted. But with these backstage promos or whatever, that organic word's starting to creep in. There's definitely something there. It's just minute, in my opinion. He's not for me, but I understand his presence. I think he'd be like a really good tag guy, but I also ultimately I think he was kind of at his peak running the Ultimate Testament, right, or the Final Testament, right. That's where I felt like in his lane was kind of perfect for him. This is a big test for him. Sammy's one of the best wrestlers in the company, right? So if you don't go out there with Sami Zayn and have just to have a bar level, just to use an example, like a 3.5 star match, which is good to very good. What are we doing? What are we what is it? And he's in a contract year. This is a massive night for him.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see, if he's obviously he is a heel, and obviously with Sammy going to be, probably the biggest face on the show. Like, let's call it for what it is. He's going to be the most over dude on the show. It's going to be interesting to see if he has the heat as a heel to, in the match to, give it steam and to, go with Sammy's work. Because like you said, Sammy's one of the best in the company. And if he can't pull off a decent match, even 2.5 stars, just something good to going into his contract, then,
There is a point, but my guy, he doesn't bump when he's in there. I guess he has a backstage presence to him that is a little negative with the producers, with like match layouts and stuff. In NXT, he was the biggest guy, so he didn't really have to take bumps, right? So when he get to the main roster, a lot of that didn't translate. Probably half the reason why he was kind of released right away and jobbed to Jeff Hardy or whatever he did, or threw a mask on him. So there's like this weirdness to him, but the weirdness is also a positive. It's that like acute charisma that I was talking about that is magnetic in a way too. I don't know. He's just like
I don't know. I just feel first off, I like to think that he is a good dude. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
I think it seems like he's a good dude, and like these promos and that the one after Mania where the shoot promo was good, and in the vacuum, but what was the point? Where did we get from that to now? Like, this was in April, now we're going into July. What the hell has he done besides just doing his devil's advocate, speaking riddles, wearing the same hairstyles all the people he's talking to, deal that he's doing now? Like, I think
cool, but
it's cool, but like you said, the bell's got to ring, man. And
it's Bray Wyatt-ish where the bell has to ring, right?
Right. And that's the problem. Like, God bless his soul, with Bray and everything, but, the bell rang and it wasn't the best. And with the Wyatt 6 now, say what you will, the bell rings with Uncle Howdy at points if he gets back in there. Not the best. Kross, big dude, like he did that match at Bloodsport and he was all right. I guess that maybe is more his style, more his thing, but obviously he's not going to do that in WWE. This is a big match for him. And if he doesn't get if Sami can't pull one out of him, then maybe MLW can be his home and he can do his thing there because I just don't see it anymore in WWE. There's too many guys. There's too many guys coming up. You know, I could take his spot on the roster. That you know, we don't need this, and it's cool and his charisma's there, but and like I hear about this organic shift for him, but I mean, he doesn't do matches on TV. He's been doing main event, and great. He gets a great reaction at main event. What's the first match of the night? You know, I could get a probably good response to the first match of the night. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know, man.
Iron Mike Sharp, no doubt.
Well, not today. No, I got my Bret Hart and Kevin Owens Canadian Dream Team shirt. They're gonna get that one. The beauty there. Sadly, I'm not wearing my mic.
You and I, Mike Sharp, would blow off the arena for a main event match.
Hey, me and Mike Sharp, you know, I'll take a headlock for him for 10 minutes. You just put it on me. I'll lie there, fall asleep like Andre the Giant against John Studd. Whatever, I don't care. You know, I'm in at Cops Coliseum, RIP, well, being rebuilt. So, you know, I don't know, man. Kross has never been a guy in Impact or here, and his 2 stints. He's just never been a favorite of mine. And, you know, God bless Sami, but I don't know if he's going to be able to pull a good match out of him.
If there's one guy to do it, it's him, right?
So. It is him. Sami's the guy. Sami's one of my faves. You know, being in Philly when he won the Intercontinental title, marking out like it was, you know, Bret Hart winning the world title in Saskatoon. I wasn't there, but I'm sure that's how I would have felt. I don't know. You know, if we were going to get like a prediction of stars right now, it's going to be 2. I don't think Kross is going to pull it out. I mean, I think he's a cool dude. Nothing against him if he sees this. I think you're a cool dude, man. Nothing against you personally. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see it. So
if there's something there, it's just gonna. They're figuring it out. It's just gonna kind of
let him do it. Like if WWE, it's shit or get off the pot. You know, you let him do the one big promo at Mania afterwards. You know, clearly it was approved or whatever. Let him do more a PG or PG-13 version of that. They're not letting him do it. He doesn't wrestle. He just hangs out in the back with his beautiful wife, and you know, if he's making $500K for that, bless his soul. Good luck. Hopefully you get a new contract and you get more. All the money to you. You deserve it.
Well, it's also weird too, right? It's 2 contracts for one act.
Yeah, it's true, right? Yeah. So I mean, everything's on the line
for
her.
It's like it's not a bargain. It's quite a. I don't want to say it's pretty much quite the investment for
it's
one
like $1 million investment on these 2. If he pulls it through and they see something in him and they go with it or whatever, but if not, it's to TNA or it's to MLW for this dude, and you know, or Billy Pumpkins can take him in the NWA and be the NWA World Champion. Whatever.
He just wrote a book. He's an actor too, so
I wish nothing but the best for this dude. I really do, but I think it's time. I know he's only been in the NXT for a short time. Ricky Saints, bring him up. Another Hamilton guy, bring it up. Ethan Page, bring him up. I don't care. Seth Rollins' crew, whoever, whatever, bring him up. I think they have more of a ceiling in the company than Karrion Kross. That's just, again, I'm just some idiot on the internet right now talking about it, and if it is what it is, but that's just one man's opinion, I guess.
All right, well, we'll see what they do. I feel that he has the opportunity to kind of go out there and show everyone what it is. I'm sure they're going to get allowed 10, 12, 14 minutes. So
not 14, please, no.
I would say that seems
let's get 10 or 11. Sami, pull it off. I have all the faith in Sami to do it, but I don't know, man. It's tough sledding.
Yeah. But there is some story here, because we can say what we want about Kross, but his character is that he changes people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting where Sami's kind of at this crossroad right now where he was ever so close to winning King of the Ring or advancing to the finals to kind of forever chase that world title, which he's kind of been doing for quite a long time. So now that he runs into Kross getting changed him to kind of get to him. In the past, Kross have wrestled people and then they've turned heel or whatnot, or they've done character changes, or they've gone on losing streaks, right? So can Sami
did that too, Bray Wyatt, and it didn't help a damn person who that happened to.
It's a weird spot. It's an interesting spot, but it's at the end of the day, it's a weird spot. So we'll see. All right, they would benefit from going on early. This low key could be a opener. I don't, just because of Sami in the favorable crowd.
I think it should be. I think I think I would do that just because
it's probably gonna be second, maybe third.
Yeah,
right?
I would started off hot with Sami coming out being the.
Well, that's only going to help Kross, right? So we'll see. I wonder if people backstage are rooting for him, or kind of be like, all right, well, he's going to show us what it is, right?
Yeah, like I said before, it's nut up or shut up, nuts on the table. Let's see what you got, dude. you're going in there with one of the best in the world, and if you can't hold up your end of the bargain of the dance here, then it's WWE can save $1 million and put it on somebody else that maybe has a brighter future in the company. There's so many people down in NXT. You got people involved, other people in the ID thing. They're just dripping with talent that you could bring up that would be a better use of the allocation of funds that that they
because there is a budget, even though they are pretty profitable, right? So
I get it, but why hoard the talent when it's just you're not using it? But if you could take somebody off TV and put somebody else on, he's the next guy off the board if that's the case, and I would bring somebody else on. Like I said, Hamilton's own Ethan Page. I'll throw in my vote for him if I have to, but
I think Sami. Yep, I think Sami wins here. If Kross were to win, be like, all right, they're going with him and he resigned, right? But I think Sami's winning.
But the Sami turning, going to the dark side thing. But if he's chasing the world title and he could win the title on Raw, that's fine. If Seth wins it, I think he's the perfect guy to take it off of. Maybe he does a little heel turn, but then he realizes what good has this done me, and then he can turn back. And
he's so beloved. He should win.
If he wins the world title, it should be a huge pop. You can do it, like I said, do it in Montreal. Obviously, the easiest place to do it. And be they blow the roof off of the Bell Center, something like that. Along those, anywhere up here they could do it. Doesn't really matter, but they're obviously there. But I think him as a babyface winning the world title, if they just do desire to do that one day, he needs to be a babyface for it, not the low blow, hit the tights, cheating to get it done. But I see the storyline they're doing. I just hope they. He kind of goes to leans towards the dark side, but ultimately doesn't do it, and is the ultimate babyface and gets it in the end.
No doubt. All right, you have nothing to plug, so we'll see you on the next.
Without question, I have nothing to plug.